I'm a fighter, always have been. In the ring and in business. 30 years of battles, rising, falling, rebuilding. I've made money, I've lost money, but it wasn't until I created Zapata Systems was I able to really find my way out. But the toughest fight, it wasn't physical. It was watching money walk out the door week after week, whether to vendors charging too much or labor not justifying the revenue. That money stress, it doesn't always stay at work. It follows you home, turns into arguments, cold dinners, and broken peace. And then there's the IRS, back taxes, deadlines, pressure you can't punch your way out of. Zapata Systems shows you what you're really paying. It gives you control, leverage, and savings. This isn't about surviving. It's about winning. You're in a fight. Start acting like it. Zapata Systems. Fight smarter.
All right, guys, welcome to Movie Talk. I am Joe Zapata. We got a lot to talk about today. We got Ocean's 14, budget approved. That's going to be coming out. We got Robin Hood, the Death of Robin Hood trailer actually dropped yesterday or today. And then, of course, the new Stranger Things finale. We're going to talk about that, plus the secret episode that's going to be debuting after our show tonight. Okay, so look out for it. The secret
in the description.
Yeah. Link in the description. All right, man. Let's introduce the team right here. Got Dave Callari from DC Unboxed. What's up, Dave?
Fellas, how are you?
What's going on? And of course, from the writer's room, Rob Alvarenga. What's up, Robbie?
What's going on? I'm organizing this watch party for episode 9.
The secret episode is going to be dropping very, very, very soon. I couldn't believe it. I don't know. We'll talk about that shortly. All right, guys. Well, let's first talk about the first thing, and that is Ocean's 14. George Clooney actually was talking about it. He says that the budget was approved. All returning cast members are coming. Matt Damon, Roberts, everyone's coming back. It's going to be a premise of an older team doing a heist, and they're going to have their age is going to be part of it. Like, you know, they're being old now. How are they going to handle heist at this age? I'm going to start off with you, Dave. Were you a Ocean's 11 type of fan? Did you enjoy those? What did you think about this?
No, I wasn't. I know a few of them were fine. Some of them weren't. I just feel this is a little bit of a tired trope at the moment. And I don't know if it's because they think it's a good idea or they're like, hey, let's see what the old guys do. Like, I just don't think it works all the time. So these guys are all, these guys are all legends. So it's not like they can't pull it off. But as always, it comes down to the writing and what's the story going to be. So
yeah,
I'm very middle ground on this.
Yeah. They always tend to, these actors, like I just saw the movie Jay Kelly, I think it was, with George Clooney on Netflix. Just dropped. There's a new movie. Adam Sandler's in it. It was okay. Wasn't that great. These older actors, as they start losing it, they start to go back to what gave them that success, and Rob, what did you think about this Ocean's 14? Is any interest in this?
Zero. And it's not a knock on the franchise. I thought the first one was excellent, actually. I just didn't think that everything that came after that was necessary. Some people like, Ocean's 12, whatever. I just kind of like, they kind of said what everything they had to say within the first one or two, if you want to include that sequel. That's kind of like one of the good ones. But, it's just like, any other sequel, reboot, reimagine, it's kind of like, it's like this constant trend, which I understand, I've spoken about before, that the model in Hollywood is that if we're going to put anything in the theaters, it better be something that has guaranteed butts in the seats. And they seem to think that the only way to do that is to rehash all these old franchises. And so at least you get some nostalgic base to attend and get some money, at the box offices. And, to your point, with some of these older actors, this is kind of like probably like their last cash grab, to be quite honest, before they retire, which nothing wrong with that. but just don't expect the same, fanfare that you enjoyed when you first started this franchise. It's great that they have, all the actors, all the main players there, because that's part of the shtick, that whole like, team camaraderie, like that whole chemistry they have between all the main principal actors and such. But outside of that, we know it's gonna be a heist movie. I mean, it's a heist in every single movie. But and then if you want to do the whole age thing, it's kind of like old now. Bad Boys. All these old actors returning and passing the baton to the next younger generation, whatever, and stuff like that. It seems like a common thread, and it's old. And the last point I'll make to it, the reason why I'm really like kind of like not interested in it, because this whole concept with the Ocean's 11, another franchise kind of like took that and ran with it better, at least more entertaining, and that was Now You See Me. It's pretty much the same premise but with magic.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sold. I thought those movies were good. But outside of that, now you're competing against a younger generational type of fanfare for this type of movies. It like you said, it's tired. I don't, outside of true Ocean 11 fans out there or George Clooney fans out there, I don't see how this thing does well.
Yeah, me too. This is a hard pass for me too. I mean, they're gonna make it. It's gonna be in the movies, but I don't think it's gonna do well. I think that it's kind of a pass, But we'll wait and see. All right. The next topic that I brought up, and like I said, I brought this because I'm a big Jim Henson fan, and I grew up on the Muppets. And the Muppets were always great. From Sesame Street, and then of course you went to the Muppet Show, and so as it goes, that 1976 and 1980 was the Muppet Show. Then they had the Muppet Babies cartoon, which was pretty cool as a kid. I remember watching that. And now on February 4th, I believe it is, they're going to be bringing back on Disney Plus the Muppet Show again. And I think it's a 15th anniversary with Seth Rogen producing it. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, they've done a bunch of reboots a couple of times with the Muppets. The movies were out. Rob, were you a Muppets fan growing up? What do you think about this?
Big Muppets fan. I'm still a big Muppets fan. Yeah, it's one of those like cornerstone like shows that people of our age kind of like you had to have grown up with it. If you had any type of interest in pop culture, Muppets were definitely in the center of all that type of entertainment that came around that time. I just don't think you really could lose with the Muppets. I mean, who doesn't like the Muppets? And every single you love these characters. You grew up with. And for some weird reason, sometimes you like either identify with one more than the other, or use one as a particular mean to express like how you're feeling. Like my personal like relation right now with Muppets is that my youngest daughter, she's animal. That's the best way to describe my youngest daughter. She's animal. So and that's the thing. It's like even speaking about it, it's like that shows like the connection that Muppets have, with the fans everywhere. So. Whether this be like the 5th iteration of it, which I think it might be, to be quite honest. Great that Seth Rogen's, pushing this along, because you need somebody like that to bring back some of these type of IPs back into the fold. I'll watch it. It's like, again, you can't lose. It's the Muppets.
100%. I didn't even realize by the 3rd season of the Muppet Show in like 1980, I think it was, it had an audience who was watching of 235 million people were watching that every week.
Big deal.
That's big, and because you kids can watch it with their, there he goes. She was her Muppet. Dave, what did you think about
what I tell you? Yeah.
We definitely have a couple of Statler and Waldorf old men at the gym, so I always fondly remember the Muppets. But yeah, I grew up on the Muppets, and I think that a lot of people just kind of forget about them because they haven't really been in the zeitgeist for quite some time. But even thinking about just what Jim Henson did, you had Fraggle Rock, and then he had this amazing puppeteer shop with the Dark Crystal. And years ago, I was involved in a prop group, and we did a prop show at this guy's studio, Bill Diamond. And Bill Diamond used to work for Jim Henson in his Creatures.
Wow.
And his studio was in Cornwall, New York. It's like 2005, and I have the real pictures of it. He had screen used Skeksis swords from the Dark Crystal. He had some of Jim Henson's handwritten screenplay notes. He had screen used buttons. He had the Leonardo animatronic head and his arm from like the elbow down for the Ninja Turtles 3, Turtles in Time. So just I think the Muppets themselves are great, and I think people are unaware of like how much of an lasting imprint that Jim Henson had on the industry as a whole. So I think that his coming back is great, and maybe can get people interested in some of the stuff that we grew up on, some stuff that's been around for a long time, like the Muppets Christmas Carol, like stuff that probably people don't know about.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, that's cool, man. That you have all those props that you worked with that. That was really cool.
Yeah.
So that we can show some of those. That's really cool, man. But yeah, I'm a big Muppets guy. I can't wait. I'm going to watch it on February 4th just to check it out. Seth Rogen always does a great job with that kind of stuff. All right, the next topic we're going to talk about is a teaser trailer drop for the death of Robin Hood, and it's actually with Hugh Jackman. I saw the trailer today, and it's an interesting take actually on Robin Hood, because now it's him regretting everything he's done in his life, and it's sort of interesting. I thought it was pretty good. I thought the trailer teaser was okay. It wasn't A24's doing it, they're producing it, whatever. So I thought it was pretty good. Hugh Jackman, always a great actor, so I thought that was great. Rob, did you see that teaser? What'd you think of it?
I sure did. I actually happened to stumble upon it just as it was released, so it was like perfect timing for the show tonight. And I'm excited. I mean, again, biases. Anything that A24 puts out, I'm in. I don't think I've seen an A24 movie that I have not enjoyed on some level. So, and they just make really good movies, in my opinion. The stories are, they're sometimes really out there. Sometimes they're just, that they're gritty, or they're just, sometimes all over the place. But, you got to at least admit every single one of those movies has entertainment value at some level. And I expect nothing less with this one. To this movie and this concept, I love that they kind of like show you just enough to get the angle. They had to use some kind of dialogue and exposition to kind of like get you, to where they're going to tell the story. And it just makes sense. We romanticize about, Robin Hood, where it's like in any of these movies that you could think of with Kevin Costner, or even the animated Disney version of it. He's romanticized as this guy, as this character of the people, right? But when you really think about it, this guy's a criminal. He's a criminal in his day, and that character would have been existing in a time where justice, it depends on who is defining what justice is, and that usually comes with murder, with like real crimes, thievery, stuff like that, where you're doing harm to people because you think you're in the right. And that's the angle that I love that they're coming from with this particular telling of Robin Hood. It's Old Man Logan, meets it's with Robin Hood. I mean, it's the perfect concept for this type of character, and it makes sense. And I can't wait to see what they're gonna do with it, because the trailer got me hooked. It's gonna be good. And Hugh Jackman, he kills it every time he's on screen. So
yep. Dave, did you get a chance to see the teaser trailer at all?
Yeah, I did. So the first thing that hit me was like, okay, it's an A24 production, so it already has like some credibility.
Yep.
If we look back at the history of Robin Hood, we have Errol Flynn, we have Carrie Elwes, we have Kevin Costner, and then a couple years ago we had the one with Taron Egerton, right?
Russell Crowe did one too. Russell Crowe did one.
Yes. Yeah, he did.
That's how it was bad. So,
so throw Rusty Crowe in the mix too. So this looks very interesting, and I like that it's something that we never even thought of, like Robin Hood post Robin Hood, right? Like even the one frame in the trailer says like the whole story was a lie. So it's interesting to see what happens. It looks like it's going to be gritty and dark and quite violent. And yeah, to Rob's point, it looks like Old Man Logan, but Robin Hood. So it looks like it'll be pretty good.
Yeah, it looks like Gandalf.
When was Hugh Jackman? Like, what was Hugh Jackman's last like bad movie?
Yeah,
like Real Steel is not great, but it's not bad.
No, it's not bad. He's a great actor. He's a great actor. I love Hugh Jackman. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. And I like when they take, our characters like this and do something interesting with them instead of doing the same thing over and over again.
I don't need to see him steal from the rich and give to the poor again.
No, exactly.
No.
I want to get in line. Where's my money?
Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah, so this should be good, and so it's supposed to be coming out, I think this year sometime. I forgot, but it was this year it's coming out. So I'm going to be looking forward for this movie. All right, now we got our final thing, and that was the big one that we're going to talk a little bit, spend a little bit of time on, is this Stranger Things finale, right? It came, we saw it. What do we think about it? So me and Dave were talking before you came on, Robin. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really, really good. There was 3 parts to it, because when they killed Vecna, there was like an hour left. I was like, shit, what are they going to do, for the rest of the hour? And I thought it got a little dry in that little middle section of it, but in the ending, I thought it was great. 2 glaring things that I kind of didn't like was I thought Sarah Connor was useless. I don't know. Her character was not really, they could have done more with it, especially since it was, me and Dave were talking a name like Linda Hamilton. Sure. And then Derek, I just kept staring at that hole and looking at him and saying, how is he going to fit through that hole? I'm like, Derek, how they're going to be a lot pushing him. That was something that always bothered me. Other than that, though, I thought it was great. I think they did it. There's no secret finale, guys. Trust me. But another series. But Dave, I'm going to start with you. We talked about it before. What did you think about this series finale?
I enjoyed it. Kind of like you. After the bad guy was defeated, I was like, wow, we have a lot of time left. What are we doing? Yeah. But that's not a bad thing. And I think I think Rob would agree with this. As a writer, if you can keep a TV show going, especially in this day and age where TV shows come and go, right? Keep a show going for as long as this went on for, and to have it be literally such a impactful cultural phenomenon from the beginning. And then in the finale, were there some missteps? Sure. But I still had, I went to the theater, and the theater was packed. Absolutely packed. Every showing was sold out. But if you can get me to watch a show and have an emotional response to fictional characters on the screen, along with everybody else in the theater, there was not a dry eye in the theater. I haven't heard this many tears since Iron Man died in Endgame. I think as writers, you've done your job. I think it was satisfying. There's a lot of people that are like, oh, they didn't answer this question. There wasn't enough backstory, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, even if we got some more backstory on the Mind Flayer or where the stone came from, you still don't want the bad guy to win. So I don't really see where some of that stuff gets you. And then they surprised us by bringing back someone from a very low rated or hated episode way back in season 2. It's like season 2, episode 6, where we get to meet Kali for the first time. And that actually does give us a lot of backstory about, one, what happened to that character over the last couple of seasons, and what the military has done since, I guess, the end of season 4, right? Like, we don't see Dr. Owens again, and people are like, what happened to him? I'm assuming Dr. K just kicked him out because she's like, no, we're doing this and we need to do it my way. That's how I see it. But we got a lot of backstory with that character, but because it's a character that people didn't like, it was like, this is so stupid and blah, 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 we hate this character. So it's like, you got to pick and choose what backstory you want. We got a lot, but people just didn't like it because it went back to an episode they didn't care for. I don't know. I thought that was stupid.
Do you think Elle's alive?
No, I think she ate it.
You think she ate it?
Yeah. She opened wide and she ate the upside down real hard.
What's interesting is that the theaters, I think, made like $30 million or something.
Yeah.
It was really crazy. And
it's really interesting because I saw a post saying that Netflix would like to keep movies in the theaters, but only for like 13 days. Like, that's not even 2 weeks. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
But literally, that was the day before or the day of these showings. So if you're going to make upwards of the $25-30 million in very limited screenings in 2 days on a show that's streaming for free at home, you may want to rethink your strategy about how long things stay in the theaters, or you have other big event shows put some of the big episodes on the screen as well. Which I think is just another shows that I still think the Netflix buying Warner Brothers is way better than whatever could have happened with Paramount.
Yes. I did know that Netflix, the money that the theater made, because you didn't buy a physical ticket. It was for like concession, correct? That money went to
I bought my tickets on AMC like I always do, and it was $20. But I kept getting emails saying like, "Oh, your $20 vouchers are available in your Stubbs account." I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, I bought a $20 ticket, but I get a $20 voucher. Well, how does that work? But I didn't really see anything else on that.
Yeah, because Netflix gave all that money back to the theaters, which I thought was great. They didn't make a profit off. All that money went back to the theaters because of all the concessions they sold. That's how they did it and worked it. So, I mean, it was really something nice that they did, and it did phenomenal. I think it was the best, weekend or whatever. What did you think of the series finale?
I was satisfied with it, very much satisfied with it. So, I'll try and I won't go in order of the whole episode and break it down to such, but I do want to touch on a couple of things. So, and you're right, it's basically like broken up. It's really two halves. You got the final, the final fight with Vecna, and then you got the aftermath. So, I do feel like there was some things that were skipped over. I did feel like we got to that battle with Vecna really quickly, and his death was like, it was quicker than I thought, to be quite honest. And the final, like, hacking of the head, by Joyce Byers, that was actually kind of powerful because it's like they're finally cutting out like all this ugliness and hurt that every single character had suffered throughout the seasons because of this guy. And I thought that was actually apropos that she's the one that finally finishes them off. So I thought that was actually very well written and very well filmed. I just, the Abyss, Dimension X, I didn't need a backstory, but at the same time, I did notice that if that was the real home of, all these nasties, the Mind Flayer, the Demogorgon, the Demodogs, stuff like that, where, well, I know that might be a big place, but you didn't see anybody outside of the big Mind Flayer that came alive. So I just thought that that's what I was expecting when I told when I told everybody on the show that these guys, the party is outgunned because they're going right after Vecna in his home. That's what I thought they were going to be facing, like, armies and stuff, and they're going to have to get real clever with that. So, the giant, big boss like Mind Flayer, it was unexpected, but at the same time, it looked like a video game. It's like you hit the hit points enough times, it's just going to die on its own. That's what it kind of felt like. So that part I was a little, disappointed with. They could have really like come up with something a little bit better with that. But overall, I did like how everybody finally like just used all their talents together to end Vecna. And right from even to Will Byers, doing his whole sorcerer thing at the end, which is really cool. That just looks cool. And when they came up with that, I thought that was awesome. They returned to that. He got a final hit on him. So overall, that part was the okay part. The lasting part of the show was really the second half. When you finally see where everything's, where everybody's, end game or end story really, takes place. And the thing that makes it really emotional, at that point, it was emotional, is that, it was real. Everybody was connected by this trauma that they shared for all these seasons, and now it's over. And now they're grown-ups. They've changed. They're completely different people, and they can't stay in Hawkins anymore. Hawkins, that chapter's over, and so you see the party kind of like break apart. And but it's like not just break apart, like everybody goes on their own side quests and journeys. No, this is actually growing up. You actually graduated your high school, and you see they're adults now. And so it kind of like I like that the writers kind of use that they look older. They are much older than the ages they're portraying. So really send them off as adults into the world. So they all have like their beginnings of their adult journeys, little snippets of it, and that hits home because everybody knows like after high school, especially if you have close friends in high school, you're never going to feel that again. So it's like the death of childhood in a lot of ways. So the final scene with them putting away their Dungeons and Dragons, playbooks, that was real touching. And the whole tie up with, Mike, being the storyteller that he is, kind of like predicting everybody what he sees in everybody's future. I thought that was just really, really heartfelt and sincere. And also shows like he has that hope that, he's the guy that's always had like the positive attitude, the hope, that everything's going to be all right no matter what. And that's what I thought when he was telling the story about what he thought might have happened with 11. I'm with you. I don't, whether that's true or not, it's who's to say, but he believes it. And that's what's going to keep him going. So, and that's powerful stuff. So I think the finale for me, just to sum it all up, I think even though Vecna got, dealt with, pretty much in the middle of the episode, that second half, I would say that was the more lasting impressions that I think most people would take away with. And that's why there was a lot of emotion in the theater too, because these are characters you actually saw and witnessed them growing up right before your eyes. And now it's time for them to leave exit stage left. That's big. And the way that send off, I thought was just beautiful.
Do you think Elle died or she lived? You think she died?
I think it's kind of like something in the middle. I don't think it played out exactly how Mike said it. I just have a hard time believing like this girl took a slug to the chest and just stayed alive long enough to concoct this invisibility spell and then put this hologram so that everybody thinks that this girl's dead. I don't know if I quite buy that, but is there a chance that she's alive? Yeah. I just there might have been another gate or something like that, maybe something like that effect. But just the way it went down, a little too confusing. I think I'm on the side of I think she's gone for good.
Dave, I wanted to ask you in the theater. You saw it in the theater. When Elle got shot, how did everyone react when they shot? Yeah,
the whole
I was home.
No.
Oh man.
Yeah. It was good. There were all the moments where things could be said. Things were said.
Really? Okay. Packed. There were people crying at the end.
When Steve fell off the tower.
That's the one I was thinking about.
Screams. Of no, not Steve.
Yeah.
Hell, I screamed when I saw that. I'm like, no, not Steve.
And then when there was some applause when you see he's fine, but there was more applause when you see it was Jonathan who had saved him.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool.
And really cool. I think that it really bothers me when people are like, oh, it's just sloppy writing. I'm like, how many of you guys have ever written a TV show?
Yeah.
Where you have, it started out as the cast was 5 kids, right? And then we had Nancy, Jonathan, Steve. Steve was originally going to be like a throwaway jock character and became one of the most beloved characters through the entire run of the show. Him and Dustin were great. Their scenes together were fantastic. And then you brought Max into the mix, and then you bring Robin into the mix. Maya Hawke was fantastic on this show.
Yes.
And for you to really honestly care about each character, probably the same amount, and then to have, I think, a satisfying emotional payoff for each character also, that's not easy to do.
Nope.
At all. So I don't know.
That's why I feel the way I feel. I feel like the second half of this episode was the best writing going into this thing, because it just the emotional beats that you felt towards the end when it's the end is coming. It's like it started to hit you slowly and realizing, oh my God, this is gonna be the last time I see everybody, all these people together, and that's it. It's the end. I mean, that takes a lot of real creative and real love for the material as a writer to make sure you have an ending like that, because it's always easy to end any type of movie or story, whatever stuff like that, with the bad guy that needs to die finally dies. So yeah, that's it's satisfying. Yeah. So, but the real ending is what happens afterwards, and that's what I love about that, because they realized that what made this thing work was not them fighting Vecna all this time. What made it work was the party together. The actual characters, who they were, and who they became at the end. That is what made Stranger Things, as popular as it was.
Yep.
So Upside Down was always interesting, but never more interesting than the characters.
Yep.
100%.
Yep. Now, where do we go from here? Now, we have a documentary coming up on Netflix about the ending, which is pretty cool. Couple spinoffs I heard. I heard one of Nancy Wheeler, possibly. I know they're doing something. And then I heard a animated series. I don't know if you
Yes.
guys heard that. That's definitely
Tales from '85 or something like that.
Yes, I think between season 2 and 3 or something or whatever.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, it's going to
definitely
be animated. It's got a much more kid friendly look to it, so it may be geared towards younger audiences, which is fine.
Mhm.
The Nancy thing, I think, is still is just a book,
okay.
not a series. And then apparently the next thing that they're going to explore is where The Rock came from.
Yes,
And
that's
all
what
of
I
that.
read too.
Because I don't know if anybody realized or noticed, but when Henry's in the cave and he's talking to whoever the scientist is with the briefcase, that's Nevada. That's not Hawkins.
Mm,
So as I thought Nevada, I was like, ooh, is this like an Area 51 situation?
interesting. I like that.
So that's just speculation. I'm just guessing, but it could be.
Yeah.
Although I will say the spinoff the missed opportunity here for a spinoff is between, Schnookums and Bald Eagle. Those the teacher and those two guys together. I don't know how you not make a show with those two guys. I mean, it's perfect. But whatever. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Now, I did hear the Duffer Brothers say they toyed with the idea of redemption story. Would you guys like to have seen that?
No.
No. Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't think so. We've had that with Vader. I don't think we need this redemption story.
Yeah. Some people are just bad. Just let it be.
It jumps the shark. I did like how we got to see some vulnerability from Henry as a kid, and that he had some fears, and then we got a little bit of a glimpse into who he was, but then also he's like, no, this thing showed me the truth. Like, that's it. Let him be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, overall, like I said, I thought it was great. I thought it was really good. A little slow, a little bit in a minute, but overall, I thought it was fantastic, just like you guys. Really good writing. All right, guys. So now we got some questions that came in. We're going to hit up with some questions. I actually got a couple funny questions that came in that I thought were really, I just put in there. Let's get started with some of the questions. This one is from George T from New York, and he says, "Hey, DC, I never knew the women's Ghostbusters was called Ghostbusters Answer the Call. Is this new?"
No, that's been what it. When it even in the theater, it just said Ghostbusters on the screen, but I think it was always called Answer the Call back then. So, yeah.
Okay, didn't know that. This one here is from Victor Von Doom from Lafayette, New York, and he says, "Screenwriter Rob will return in Adventures Tuesday."
You damn Skippy.
I thought that was funny when I said I couldn't.
That was good.
That's funny. That's pretty good. All right. One of our regulars, Maria P. Emerson, New Jersey says, "Happy New Year's, guys. 2026 will be a big year for all you. Do you guys think studios are prioritizing on remakes, sequels, and superhero films too much?" Take it away.
Yeah. I think we talked. We kind of hit on that. That's been kind of like my gripe. Sorry. For the last few shows, whenever we have like a remake, or whatever reimagining and stuff like that with these franchises, it's the current model, and to be honest, it's sad because these guys. I mean, from a business perspective, yes, they logically kind of make sense. You want a guaranteed base because people are not going to theaters as much. So you got to make sure that whatever you put in the theaters, it's got to be almost a guaranteed hit. Okay, but then you are just cutting off any type of future for the movie industry, because if all you're gonna have is remake, sequels, superhero movies, I mean, there's fans for all these types of movies, but at some point, the cow's gonna run dry. You have to introduce new stuff. And I don't get it. If you're gonna introduce new things, that means that's a smaller budget, and that's higher opportunity for returns if it's a good story, if it's made right. So I don't get why they're so afraid to do that. If you put a decent actor's name to it or name director to it, people are gonna watch it. I mean, we just talked about the death of Robin Hood, and we feel like it's gonna be a good movie worth watching because of the studio that makes it.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't that be the model for bringing us new things? I mean, honestly, the 80s, most of the 80s was for me, it's like a golden age because you had new material coming out that created franchises. It's been a while since we've had an era like that, and I think it's coming a time where we need to do that again.
Yeah, What do you think, Dave? Same thing? You agree with it?
Yeah, so a lot of it is budgetary. It's like, okay, some of it's course correction for the industry as a whole, because you kind of have to make money at this point with the way streaming is and the lack of people going to theaters. So people try to hit on the sure thing, and unfortunately, so many of them have not been sure things. So to Rob's point, we do have smaller studios like A24 that are hopefully leading the way and can be that little beacon of light for other studios or other creatives who are starting out doing something, to like, get some traction. Even that guy, Chris Stuckman with his Shelby Oaks, like, I'm like, oh wow, a literal nobody has gotten a movie made, and it's out, right? Has anyone seen it?
No, I haven't seen it.
It was out, but I didn't get to see it. But it's a horror movie, so I'm probably eventually will see it.
And then you have something like Sinners comes out, which I couldn't tell if people were more impressed that it was actually good or that it was good and it was an original idea.
Yeah.
So, but that's also good that it was an original idea and did well. And again, we'll go back to the Netflix deal. So this is the opportunity to have some money people will be willing to spend money on up and coming writers, producers, directors. Maybe we can start to get more original ideas just from this one deal. Now, whether it goes to theaters or just to streaming in the beginning, that remains to be seen. But I think, again, this does set up a nice landscape for the course correction we'd like to see come out of this. It's definitely not going to be overnight, though.
Okay.
No, it's
cool.
going to take a while.
Because we still have you're still always going to have the big tentpole movies coming down the pike. Like, we are going to be talking about Avengers Doomsday probably almost every week. Till it comes out. And we haven't
they keep giving us teasers,
we didn't even talk about the X-Men trailer that hit yesterday or 2 days ago.
Exactly. Next question here is actually Christy, Hope, New Jersey. Will Avengers be the biggest movie and box office hit of 2026? Will it be? You think so, or Spider-Man Brand New Day? What do you think?
This beats Spider-Man.
Yeah.
This will beat Spider-Man. The only other one that's going to probably rival that, and people forget, is Dune 3. I think that's coming out the same day as Avengers Doomsday.
Really?
Yeah. This might be a double feature for me.
That's that's throwing it down.
What did you guys think of that X-Men trailer, by the way? I thought that was really great, And I also saw the other leaked one with Shuri and M'Baku, and who else was in there? I saw that one, and
Ben Grimm,
that was really interesting. And those are all, I mean, what's that team going to look like? I don't know. That's really interesting.
I saw the leaked X-Men one, and then I saw the real one, and I'm like, the real one is better. I don't know what people are using. The audio is terrible. Sometimes I don't know if to put it up on YouTube, they have to change the audio. So the leaked thing I saw that you're talking about, I'm like, I don't even want to see this because it looks terrible. X-Men 1 was great. It's always good to see Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen back. They own those roles as much as Hugh Jackman owns Wolverine. Great to see James Marsden in a legit 97 Cyclops costume. I don't know if anybody saw the Sentinel walking away in the background.
Yes, like literally right behind him.
I have a feeling that the Sentinel destroys the X-Mansion, and this is Cyclops losing his shit.
No, it was great, and I mean, you're right. First of all, the dialogue from the leaked version to the official one, I felt it was different. You felt more like Ian McKellen really into his Magneto voice, and the music behind it, and I like that they gave like a little like missile sound effect when Cyclops unleashes his optic blast. It hit hard when he did that. As far as the leaked version, the leaked new teaser, what was cool with that, and I don't know if it's the official one's going to be exactly the way it is when they release that officially, but cool thing that you kind of forget, M'Baku, he's the king of Wakanda. He introduced himself as King M'Baku, and it'd be like, oh yeah, that's right, this guy is now the head of Wakanda. So I thought that was pretty cool, and them working with Ben Grimm, which I don't even know, he feels like he's alone, working with them, and then you got a glimpse of Namor. I personally love that actor that they chose for Namor. what is it? Tenoch Huerta.
Mhm.
I mean, I thought he gave like a really unique, awesome interpretation of that character. I'm glad to see him back. So it's just really cool to see those guys on screen. But I'm with Dave. At this point, I kind of want the official versions now because it seems like the official versions are
Mhm.
finished products versus like the leaked ones where it's just like it looks and sounds just really shitty.
Yeah. And like we said, I think by the Super Bowl, we're going to get an official trailer with Doctor Doom. We're going to finally see
Let's go.
Doom.
Let's go.
Finally somewhere like that. We'll see. Tim K actually from Brentwood, New Jersey said, great insight, Rob, that Steve Rogers will return, not Cap. I believe it only Steve, and people are being misled. So I think you're right too. Like you said, Steve Rogers will return. It's going to be Steve Rogers, not Cap, because Falcon obviously is, Anthony Mackie's.
People aren't being misled; they are misleading themselves.
Yes, 100%. I mean, come on, guys. Pay attention.
On the screen, we got Thor will return. I mean, that's his name, but Thor and X-Men will return. They're being very deliberate in how they're putting this stuff out there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
100%.
Yep. 100%. All right, guys, we're going to finish up right here with a couple of the trivia questions I got for you. Let me just get this up going over here. All right, we got the last one right here. Just get this over here going. All right, we'll start off with you, Rob. Robbie, what is the Royale with cheese?
Oh, Pulp Fiction.
I thought you were going to like to know what it actually was.
I thought about that too. I'm like, well, technically it is.
A quarter pounder with cheese in France, isn't it?
Yeah. All right, Dave. Come with me if you want to live.
Terminator 2. Or even 1.
True.
Yeah, it's true.
All right, Rob. All right, Rob. Ready? Never tell me the odds.
Oh, I just did this. This is Han Solo. It's a Star Wars.
Very good. Very good. Very good. All right, Dave. I must break you.
Rocky 4.
Boom. All right, Rob. Here we go. Wax on, wax off.
Karate Kid.
Mm-hmm. All right, Dave. No time for love, Dr. Jones.
Oh man! Oh, you should have let Dave read that one.
No time for love, Dr. Jones.
Great.
You cheat. No fun. No fun. You call him Dr. Jones, dog.
Yeah, we know who that is.
Oh man, that's fantastic.
All right, Rob. Make like a tree and get out of here.
Oh, Back to the Future.
Back to the Future, of course. All right, Dave, you'll get this one easy. Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together.
That's hysteria, Ghostbusters.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, Rob, I'm a Mog, half man, half dog. I'm my own best friend.
Spaceballs.
There you go, perfect. And the final one is all righty then.
Oh, Ace Ventura.
There you go. It's very simple. Nice job, guys. All right, man. Great job this week.
These were layups in the wheelchair division today.
Yeah, I'll take it.
We will see you guys next week. Have a good one, guys. I'll talk to you guys later.
Started from nothing. Jersey streets, we owned it. Jay-Z pumping iron. Body builder coding. Beans on the